funk. Thoughts deep, boys steeped in the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, I late in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? Waiting for the day to arrive or struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Realize life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and reconnect to myself and know that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress to bring me looking like we're blessings dropping. And so I got myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah, let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Woo.
Warning, the following image and/or content may be disturbing, offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Man. Who-wee. Ooh, we happy tough Wednesday to y'all, man. Happy tough Wednesday. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the stream. I am Urban. Appreciate you a whole lot. Hey, Constance, yeah, I feel you. I not feel you, man. I feel you on today. I do, man. My day was long too. Shoot, Lord, man. Oh no, it's just something about Wednesday getting over that hump. I guess that's what they call it, shoot. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was I was kind of contemplating if I was gonna even do this show today. To be real with you, but I really wanted to because I wanted to share with y'all these keynote speeches that the Obamas did today. That's the one I captured on video, and y'all could go back and review it, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. So yeah, so I want to go ahead and do that because I know I got another show that I want to do for y'all tomorrow. Another Pop the Balloon episode came out today. Well, I wouldn't call it a Pop the Balloon episode because Ornette kind of changed her content around. Instead of it being Pop the Balloon, she's doing a blind date style. All right, so I wanted to review that, but I want to go ahead and review this particular topic right now with the Obamas doing their keynote speeches, why it's still fresh and hot on the scenes right now. And I just want to get y'all perspective on it. Facts. So we probably do that show tomorrow on that show tomorrow, or I may DJ tomorrow. I don't know. Wait a minute. Tomorrow ain't Friday. What the hell I'm talking about? I'm thinking tomorrow, Friday, like ain't nothing. Yo, so we will do that on that show tomorrow. All right. So we'll do that. So make sure you have a notification set when I go live and talk about that. Cause I know y'all, I've been talking about politics all week. I've been talking about politics all last week, but I'm doing this intentionally. You know what I'm saying? There's a method behind the madness, and the method behind the madness is that at the end of the day, I want people to be aware of what's going on in the political arena, and I want y'all to go out and vote, but I don't want y'all to vote based on your feelings and emotions. As I call it, the feel-good election. I don't want y'all to go out because it feels good to you. I don't want you to go out because you just voted because it's a woman or a black woman. You know, so I want y'all to get out and vote because whatever issues that's bothering you, it should matter. You know what I'm saying? And that's my whole intention of sharing all this political stuff with y'all. Facts. I know we got our biases for real. We sure do. We do. We got our biases, you know what I'm saying? There are certain issues that I believe in, I stay firm on. I go 10 toes down for as well too. And some of y'all may agree on it. Some of y'all may not agree on it.
That's bullshit.
But it's all good. But that's what we do over here at the lounge, is that we have these thought-provoking conversations regardless if we agree, disagree, or agree to disagree. That's what we're about over here, you know what I'm saying? So you can be free to express yourself, because trust me, you're absolutely free over here. We don't do no blocking folks or anything like that. We don't do that over here unless you're going against YouTube community guidelines and stuff. That's the only way you'll get time out or block over here, and that's facts. So if you're going against YouTube community guidelines and standards, and also I have, as you enter into the lounge, I have my house rules, as y'all see. Long as you abide by that, then by all means you could come over here and say whatever the hell you want to say, and I guarantee that you're not going to get time out. But if you come in here doing some weird stuff, coming in here spamming the chat, you come in here trolling, you coming in here attacking the chat, you know what I'm saying, or whatever case may be, then more than likely you're going to get time out and maybe block, more likely, and that is facts. Because I'm a different breed of a content creator, you know what I'm saying? I'm a different breed, meaning that I have rules and regulations over here. I don't let people just come over here and just go buck wild and do what they want when they want. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how it works over here. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, I am the content creator. I am the leader of this channel over here. Everything that happens at this channel is my responsibility. So I have to treat it as such. And that is facts. I'm just saying, y'all. So yeah, so once again, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are, where you come from, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of this stuff. I don't care if you're like beefing with other content creators, you know, or other weird stuff you got going on. I don't care about that. When you enter to the lounge, I guarantee that the lounge is a safe haven place where you can engage into the content. And that is absolutely facts. I guarantee that. So I feel like I need to put that disclaimer out there because like I said before, and I say again, I got people from all different walks of life that pulls up to the lounge. I got people who are from all different sectors who pull up over here and everything. And they come over here for the main purpose is to hear Urban's content or hear my perspective. Some of them come over here to hear my perspective and they agree with it. Some over here come over here, you know what I'm saying, to kind of troll me a little bit. And some of them come over here to debate with your boy too, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And I enjoy every moment of it, all right? So with all that being said, salute to everyone who are here right now. Constance, I appreciate you, boss lady, for being in the building. Appreciate you. Constance, she said, man, Urban shoes. She been doing the DoorDash thing. That she's still doing the DoorDash thing and stuff, right? And she said, hey, that DoorDash thing killing me. And I can imagine so. Doing all that driving, and we've been having hot heat in Texas, for real. I ain't lying. It been hot as hell in Texas. We be having like 106, 107 degrees in Texas. So I know that heat is very, very draining. So I get it. So that's probably part of the reason why, you know what I'm saying, I'm kind of tired right now. Because, you know, even though I be in the building most of the time, but at times when I got to get out, it be, you know, it could be draining for real. It drain you really, really fast. Because it's hot and it's humid here in Texas, very humid. I call Texas weather a low level of Vegas weather for real. Kid you not. Kid you not. Because that's exactly what it is. It's like a low level Vegas weather here in Texas on the cool though. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but once again, appreciate Boss Lady pulling up to the lounge. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all who going to catch the replay of this stream as well, too. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate you. Thank you. So without further ado, let's go and get into this content for tonight, y'all. Once again, we're going to be reviewing the 2 keynote speeches that the Obamas had put out at the DNC last night. Now, I kind of watched a little bit of it, but I didn't watch all of it because I didn't want to spoil it for myself, nor I didn't want to spoil it for y'all as well too, those of y'all who haven't seen it yet, okay? And also, those of y'all who have seen it, don't be sitting up here pulling up to my, I just seen that, Urban, I just seen it.
That's bullshit.
Let other people see it, okay? We got it, we get it. We know you just seen it, but let other people enjoy the content, whoever seen it, okay? Is that all right? Cool. So without further ado, let's go and jump into this, y'all. Let's jump to this content, y'all. So once again, the Obamas, they did a keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention. The convention is still going on right now for the final night, if I'm not mistaken. Day 3, I believe former President Bill Clinton is speaking. Is ever going to do a stream on that? Hell no, I'm not doing no stream on that.
That's bullshit.
I'm not doing it. Because I think we had enough with politics, all right? So, showing up, salute, welcome. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into this content, y'all. By the way, y'all, by the way, before we start, I don't know if y'all noticed something different. But I will let you know. I'll let you know. Matter of fact, let me go back to the screen. I don't know if y'all noticed something different on when y'all pulled up to the lounge. You may have noticed it, you may not have noticed it, but I'm going to let you know. So many people been reaching out to me about this whole YouTube monetization thing, right? Many people, especially content creators, right? They've been saying, Urban, why you not monetizing your content? Why you not doing it? Why you not doing it? Why you not doing it? And they suggest that I did go ahead and monetize my channel. I told them the reason why, because of different various reasons. You know what I'm saying? But to be honest with y'all, I could have been had my channel monetized almost a year ago, to be real about it, but I just didn't. I just never did it. The reason why, because I was just looking at different policies about the monetization and stuff, and to be honest with you, I really didn't like it, all right, at all, period. So I just never did it. So different content creators, they've been reaching out to me, and they're like, you know what, just at least try it and see. You can always turn it off. So I'm taking their advice, and I went on ahead and monetize this channel. Okay. Yeah, so this channel is now monetized. So you can see at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you're able to give out super chats and super stickers and all that good old stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it is now available if you want to do that. All right. So yeah. So we're gonna give this monetization thing a trial and error. Basics, all right. We're gonna give it a trial and error. If it's something that's beneficial, then I'll leave it on. If it's not, if I feel that it's not beneficial, if I feel that it's more of a stress and a hassle, then I would deactivate it for real with no problem. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So without further ado, let's go and get into this content. All right. So here's the one keynote speeches that the Obamas did. We are going to start with Michelle Obama. So without further ado, let's get it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up as you enter into the lounge.
Okay. We got a big night ahead. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey. Hello, Chicago.
Chicago, Chi-Town.
Yeah. All right. Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? Yeah. We're feeling it.
This dude right here has been simping it out throughout this whole conference.
Beta.
This dude been tripping for real. Go Michelle! Go Barack! Go, go, go! This dude here, man.
Here in this arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. You know what I'm talking about. It's the contagious power of hope. The anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on the cusp of a brighter day. The chance to vanquish the demons of fear, division, and hate that have consumed us and continue pursuing the unfinished promise of this great nation, the dream that our parents and grandparents fought and died and sacrificed for. America, hope is making a comeback.
Yeah, y'all want to know something? I believe that it was a really good strategy for Kamala Harris and her team to have the Obamas to do a keynote speech separately. All right, I think it is. I honestly believe that it was a wonderful strategy on their part. I do, and I'm explaining to y'all the reason why. The reason why is this: even though I have my personal biases about the Obamas, right? One thing for certain is this: the Obamas are great public speakers, hands down. They are. No lie. I'm not going to discredit them from that. They are great public speakers, hands down, both of them. They both are. So Kamala Harris and her team did a phenomenal job of booking them so that could be both of them have a separate keynote speech and stuff, right? And here's another thing too that I want y'all to understand too, which I already know how their speech is going to be about. Not because I've seen it, because I haven't seen Barack's speech yet. Yeah, but I kind of seen a little bit of clip notes of Michelle's speech. But one thing for certain is this: their speeches is the same how the way it was almost like 10 to 13 years ago. Okay. Their speeches is always geared towards hope. And whenever you use the term hope, hope is always a triggering word for human nature. Because every human on the planet understands hope. Every human on the planet understands that hope could potentially equals to peace. Hope could also potentially lead to belief as well too. And their speeches are exactly the same exact way where they center it towards hope. So I just wanted to just throw that out there to you, all right, so y'all can understand, okay?
But to be honest, I am realizing that until recently, I have mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings. Is that deep pit in my stomach, a palpable sense of dread about the future. And for me, that mourning has also been mixed with my own personal grief. The last time I was here in my hometown was to memorialize my mother, the woman who showed me the meaning of hard work and humility and decency, the woman who set my moral compass high and showed me the power of my own voice. Folks,
Scorp, salute.
I still feel her loss so profoundly. I wasn't even sure if I'd be steady enough to stand before you tonight, but my heart compelled me to be here because of the sense of duty that I feel to honor her memory and to remind us all not to squander the sacrifices our elders made to give us a better future. You see, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. So my mother volunteered at the local school. She always looked out for the other kids on the block. She was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous work that for generations has strengthened the fabric of this nation. The belief that if you do unto others, if you love thy neighbor, if you work and scrape and sacrifice, it will pay off. If not for you, then maybe for your children or your grandchildren. You see, those values have been passed on through family farms and factory towns, through tree-lined streets and crowded tenements, through prayer groups and National Guard units and social studies classrooms. Those were the values my mother poured into me until her very last breath. Kamala Harris and I built our lives on those same foundational values. Even though our mothers grew up an ocean apart, they shared the same belief in the promise of this country. That's why her mother moved here from India at 19. It's why she taught Kamala about justice, about the obligation to lift others up, about our responsibility to give more than we take. She'd often tell her daughter, "Don't sit around and complain about things, do something." So, with that voice in her head, Kamala went out.
I'm not, so I ain't trying to be real petty about this, but I'm kind of sort of a little bit gonna call cap on this a little bit.
That's bullshit.
Because just like I stated earlier, I understand the whole concept about, building it up for hope and for the future and building up the campaign to favor Kamala, right? And so what she's doing within her speech, she's telling a story, which nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But however, within her storytelling, right, she's telling the story about how the way both of their parents encourage them to do something different, to fight for people and all that good old stuff. The only reason why they know this story is because this is the story that their parents told them, and they just mimicking the story. Now, is this story, in fact, truth behind it? To be honest with you, we don't know. We have no idea. For ours, what we know is that this story could be a fabrication. It could be made up, or that could just be added certain parts into the story to make it look good. I just have to point that out to y'all. All right. Now, do I have facts that what they're saying is false or true, whatever? No, I don't. I have no idea. All we have is just to go behind their word. That's it. And so that's the whole point that I'm pointing out to y'all, that at the end of the day, that's what she's doing. She's sharing out a story that she had heard a mimic, or it could be a fabrication that she's making the story up just so her speech could sound good. Just throwing it out there, y'all. Nora, salute, welcome.
And she worked hard in school,
South Pass,
graduating
salute.
from an HBCU, earning her law degree at a state school. And then she went on to work for the people, fighting to hold lawbreakers accountable, strengthening the rule of law, fighting to get folks better wages, cheaper prescription drugs, a good education, decent health care, child care, elder care. From a middle-class household, Kamala worked her way up to become Vice President of the United States of America.
So hold up, Scorpio. You said that they had a tea party together. You talking about they had a tea party when they was young together? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Keep that in mind, because I have another thought about that later.
My girl, Kamala Harris, is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency. And she is one of the most dignified, a tribute to her mother, to my mother, and to your mother too. The embodiment of the stories we tell ourselves about this country. Her story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of the vast majority of Americans trying to build a better life. Look, Kamala knows, like we do, that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love.
See, I know y'all saying that y'all wish Michelle would have ran for presidency, but there's a reason why she not running for presidency. Okay, there's a reason behind that. The number one reason why she's not running for presidency is because the higher ups do not want her to run for presidency, and that is facts. She's not part of that storyline. The only storyline she's a part of is being that supportive role, just like how the way she was when her husband was president. That's her only role that she's going to have. And to be quite honest with y'all, that is the only role that she's ever going to have long as she's in politics, is that she's going to play a supportive role. She is not going to run into the office of presidency, period. See, my words on this. See, now y'all gonna be talking about, oh man, no, Urban, you hating on her. No, I'm just being real with y'all. Mark my words. Right after when whoever wins this presidency race and they serve their term, whatever, guess what? She's not gonna run. She's not.
How you worship or what's in your bank account. We all deserve the opportunity to build a decent life. All of our contributions deserve to be accepted and valued.
Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate y'all.
No one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American. No one. Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth.
All right. I had played it up to this point because let's go back and revisit Scorpio question. Statement. Scorpio said this. They had a tea party, Urban. They had a tea party, meaning that if they had a tea party, that means that they had grew up together, right? Correct? So since they grew up together, guess what that means? That means that they also had grew up with what? A silver spoon. They also grew up privileged, just like how they talking about Trump and his supporters as well too. Same as that thing. The only difference between their silver spoon and Trump and his constituents' silver spoon is that Trump and his constituents is way more wealthy, right? But however, Michelle Obama and Kamala in there, right? They have more of a you could call a popularity wealth. What that was already built into the family, just like former President Barack Obama. He was already connected to, linked together to certain higher ups. Okay, so his life was already destined for him to run into a political office due to his parents. Same as that thing with Michelle. Same exact thing with Kamala. Okay, so what they doing is no different from Trump, other than one party is way more wealthier than the other party. Let's keep it a buck. All right, but at the end of the day, it's the same concept. Both of them is born with a silver spoon. Both of them was born with privilege versus us. Okay, the normal average people.
If bankrupt a business, or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No. We put our heads down. We get to work. In America, we do something. And throughout her entire life, that's what we've seen from Kamala Harris.
Now, I know a lot of viewers, right, who have watched this right in real time, and I know a lot of y'all who are watching this right now. If you haven't seen it yet, let me ask y'all this question: who is the we that she's referring to? Have y'all ever thought about that? Who is the actual we that she's referring to? Have y'all thought about that? Who does this we entails? Now she mentioned earlier about Americans, okay? So the question you should be asking yourself is this: what part of an American are you? What part of American are you? Are you part of the Black American? Or are you part of the Negro/African American crowd? Or are you part of the minority American crowd? You have to ask yourself that question, and so you can understand why they use certain terminologies the way that they use it. Okay, like I did a show the other time when I gave y'all the difference between the house Negro versus the field Negroes. Every last one of these people here, right? Every last one of these people here at these conventions, whether it's the Democrat or the Republican convention, right? All of these are considered as house Negroes, and this is facts. All of them. So whenever they're using the term we, right, they're not talking about you, the average person. They're not talking about y'all, which I've said this before and I'm saying it again. They're not talking about you. They are talking about them, they fellow household Negroes. That's who they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. And that's what it's all about with them. It's what they could do for each other. But they use these terminologies and stuff, right, to make you think that you're a part of the cause, right? To make you think that you're part of the bigger plan. Okay? But once again, I'm just throwing it out there. But let's continue.
The steel of her spine, the steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her light. It couldn't be more obvious. Of the two major candidates in this race, only Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment that has always made America great. Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black. Wait. I want to know, who's going to tell him Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
Question to y'all. Question to y'all. Don't this seem like oddly familiar? What do you mean, Urban? You gotta break this one down, Urban. Don't this seem like oddly familiar with what y'all be watching on YouTube all the time when you be seeing other content creators beefing with each other? Don't this seem kind of oddly familiar to that? Where they beefing and they roasting each other and doing different things like that. Don't that seem strikingly familiar? I'm just saying, but maybe that's just me.
Look, it's his same old con. His same old con. Doubling down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better. Look, because cutting our health care, taking away our freedom to control our bodies, the freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did, those things are not going to improve the health outcomes of our wives, mothers, and daughters. Shutting down the Department of Education, banning our books, none of that will prepare our kids for the future.
Okay, so I had put a post out right on my community wall, and I was asking y'all the question about miscarriages, right? Because on day one, I believe they had did. Was it day one? Yeah, it was day one. They had on stage different people who's dealing with different situations, dealing with women and reproductive rights, right? One of the women. Well, actually, two of the women stood up there and said that in their said state, the doctor wouldn't want to perform emergency surgery on them because there was miscarriage. There was miscarriage, right? So I actually went back and fact checked that, right? And come to find out, that is not true of what they're talking about at all. That is not the truth of what happened. See, the state the state has certain stipulations with the abortion law. One of those stipulations is dealing with miscarriage. If it's a miscarriage that's dealing with life or death situation, then it is up to that doctor's discretion to go ahead to either perform the surgery or not. Now, once again, it is up to that doctor's discretion to either perform that surgery or not. And it had nothing to do with the state, and it had nothing to do with the law. It had everything to do with that particular practitioner who they went to. And they said state. That's where I found out about that. But what they're doing is this. They are tying in Project 25 into their argument. So it is true in Project 25 that they are trying to abolish abortion, period. Regardless if it's a miscarriage or anything like that, they're trying to get rid of this thing, period, which I don't agree with that at all, period. I think that is ridiculous and I think that is stupid. So they're using that manifesto as their counter argument to promote a certain type of narrative or a certain type of fear. So you as the people could do what is known as fear voting. Y'all know the same as that concept of what happened when we dealt with COVID, right? Where people start fear buying, right? When you really didn't have to fear buy, when it wasn't that damn serious, but they made it more than what it is. Same as that thing of what's happening right now in her particular speech. Same as that thing that's happening in this election, where they're using fear tactics to get people to vote. Same as that thing what happened with Trump when he allegedly when somebody was allegedly trying to assassinate him. They used that fear tactic to try to get fear voting. Okay? But just letting y'all know.
Demonizing our children for being who they are and loving who they love. Look, that doesn't make anybody's life better. Instead, it only makes us small. And let me tell you this, going small is never the answer. Going small is the opposite of what we teach our kids. Going small is petty, it's unhealthy, and quite frankly, it's unpresidential. So, why would any of us accept this from anyone seeking our highest office? Why would we normalize that type of backward leadership? Doing so only demeans and cheapens our politics. It only serves to further discourage good, big-hearted people from wanting to get involved at all. America, our parents taught us better than that, and we deserve so much better than that. That's why we must do everything in our power to elect two of those good, big-hearted people. There is no other choice than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. No other choice.
Now, to be honest with y'all, I think that is not only disheartening for her to say something like that, but I also firmly believe that it's disingenuous for her to say something like that too. The reason why I say that is because there are other candidates that's just as well qualified as Kamala, that's just as well qualified as Trump. But for her to say that, to say there's no other party out there other than what y'all dealing with right now because we're popular right now, that is disingenuous for real. That's not only disingenuous, that is some bullshit.
That's bullshit.
See, this is another thing that I don't like about these campaigns. They don't give no other type of party a fighting chance. Period. They use their popularity and their popularity resources and they finances and different things like that in their endorsements to give other candidates a unfair disadvantage. And I don't like that, period. I believe that if anything, that should change. That it should change this little policy that they got going on. That should change where they allow people to at least have a fighting chance, where people could hear out all the candidates. See, even right now, social media outlets is either tied up to Kamala campaign or Trump's campaign, but you barely hear anything about the other candidates' campaign. The reason why, because the media outlets is not going to share it with y'all. And I think that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
I do. But, it is what it is.
But as we embrace this renewed sense of hope, let us not forget the despair we have felt. Let us not forget what we are up against. Yes, Kamala and Tim are doing great now. We're loving it. They're packing arenas across the country. Folks are energized. We are feeling good. But
this is the reason why I call it the feel-good election.
remember, there are still so many people who are desperate for a different outcome, who are ready to question and criticize every move Kamala makes, who are eager to spread those lies, who don't want to vote for a woman, who will continue to prioritize building their wealth over ensuring that everyone has enough. So no matter how good we feel tonight or tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be an uphill battle. So folks, we cannot be our own worst enemies. No. See, because the minute something goes wrong, the minute a lie takes hold, folks, we cannot start wringing our hands. We cannot get a Goldilocks complex about whether everything is just right. And we cannot indulge our anxieties about whether this country will elect someone like Kamala instead of doing everything we can to get someone like Kamala elected.
Yeah, y'all want to know the reason why she used the analogy of Goldilocks and 3 barrels, right? The reason why is because she's trying to let the audience know that Kamala's not perfect. Okay. She's trying to let the audience know, and she's trying to let y'all know that she's not perfect, meaning that she had every right to make mistakes. Or I'm going to break it down deeper than that. She had every right to not fulfill every little policy that y'all want to happen. And that is fact. There's some policies that y'all want voted for Kamala, right? That y'all been talking about, you know what I'm saying? Let's say hypothetically speaking that one of the major policies is dealing with reproductive rights, since they're talking about this heavily, right? Let's say that even within this policy, that policy don't get passed and signed, right? That's what she's referring to. She's saying like, hey, at the end of the day, we could send it up to the House and make the House vote on it, right? The only way it's going to get a quick vote if it becomes bipartisan, which 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be bipartisan whatsoever. But we can vote on it. We can send it from the House and let the Senate make the ultimate decision on it. Now, if the Senate say, hey, yes, a go, then it's going to happen. But if the Senate say, hell no, it's not going to go, guess what? It is not going to happen. Regardless of Kamala being in the office, or regardless of being a president, if the Senate say, hell no, then it is not going to happen. So that is what she's talking about for us, the policy concern, that if you're trying to vote thinking that she's going to just immediately come and do executive orders and all kind of stuff because she's in her feelings, I'm telling y'all, it is not going to happen at all. That is not how the politics works. I'm telling y'all. That's also the reason why, those of y'all who've been following politics, right, that's also the reason why they're trying to reformulate the Senate. They're trying to get new people into the Senate so they could go ahead and pass their little laws. And that's for both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. They're trying to get a new Senate in there so they could pass their little crazy laws that they want to pass. But if the Senate say hell no, then it's not going to happen, period.
Kamala and Tim, they have lived amazing lives. And I am confident that they will lead with compassion, inclusion, and grace. But they are still only human. They are not perfect. And like all of us, they will make mistakes. But luckily, y'all, this is not just on them. No, this is up to us, all of us, to be the solution that we seek. It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division. Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right. To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy, for the values at the very foundation of this democracy. It's up to us to remember what Kamala's mother told her. Don't just sit around and complain, do something. So, if they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something. If we see a bad poll, and we will, we got to put down that phone and do something. If we start feeling tired, if we start feeling that dread creeping back in, we got to pick ourselves up, throw water on our face, and what? Do something. We only have 2.5 months, y'all, to get this done. Only 11 weeks to make sure every single person we know is registered and has a voting plan. So,
Question, what is the voting plan that she's talking about? Have y'all thought about that too? Well, what is this voting plan? But let's continue.
We cannot afford for anyone anyone America to sit on their hands and wait to be called. Don't complain if no one from the campaign has specifically reached out to you to ask you for your support. There is simply no time for that kind of foolishness. You know what you need to do. So, consider this to be your official ask. Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something. Because you all, this election is going to be close. In some states, just a handful, listen to me, a handful of votes in every precinct could decide the winner. So we need to vote in numbers that erase any doubt. We need to overwhelm any effort to suppress us.
How does she know that the election is going to be pretty close? How does she know that? It's another question I'm asking y'all.
Our fate is in our hands. In 77 days, we have the power to turn our country away from the fear, division, and smallness of the past. We have the power to marry our hope with our action. We have the power to pay forward the love, sweat, and sacrifice of our mothers and fathers and all those who came before us. We did it before, y'all, and we sure can do it again. Let us work like our lives depend on it. And let us keep moving our country forward and go higher, yes, always higher than we've ever gone before as we elect the next president and vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you all. God bless.
Now, once again, y'all, I do have to give Michelle her props on her speech. I do. I got to give her props because she is a great public speaker. She is. She really is, hands down. Now, everybody in the chat. Now, I don't want y'all to think that's because I have my biases about this, that, you know what I'm saying, I don't respect her for, you know, for who she is and the things that she has accomplished, because Michelle has accomplished so many phenomenal things, especially within a charity, especially when her husband was in the presidency. I give her props on that, for real. Even with her husband, Barack, there are some things that he did accomplish with that I agree with. And I also agree that Barack is a phenomenal public speaker as well, too. He is. He is. But at the same time, it's certain stuff that they say that I pointed out to y'all for a reason. Because the reason why I pointed out is because I want y'all to think about it, okay? You don't have to agree with me, but I just throw it out there for you to just like, why would Urban say something like that? But believe me, it's a method behind the madness. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hear Barack speak, all right?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's enough. Thank you. Chicago, it's good to be home. It is good to be home, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up. I am feeling ready to go. Even if I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama. am feeling hopeful because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible. Because we have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her.
Here's another question I want to challenge y'all on, okay? Barack Obama just mentioned that we live in a country in America which is anything is possible, right? Do y'all truly believe that anything is possible in America? Do y'all? Let's evaluate this real quick. What make things possible in your life in America? You have to live your life according towards a certain standard or a certain type of guidelines in order for you to be considered as socially acceptable in America, right? The whole concept of the American dream is this, is for a person to get out, train your kids in the educational system, depends on where you at, right? You put your kids in the educational system, which we know that even the educational system is biased. We know that. That's why we have public schools. That's why we have private schools. That's why we have charter schools. We have schools that where Ivy League kids go to. They're separate from everybody else. Their educational level is different from public school educational level. Y'all do understand that, right? Y'all understand that, right? They train their Ivy League kids to automatically be the next leaders of this country. So, once again, how is it possible that anything is possible, but they try to sell it to you as though it's anything possible? In reality, it's not. At the end of the day, everything is fixed in this country. That's the reality. If you're not part of the Avali family, if you're not part of the elite, or if you're not even remotely know them or friends with them or anything like that, you are already destined to be where you at, which is a normal worker bee in this country. And it is fact. I don't care. You go to college. I don't care if you go to college to get a degree, get a associate's degree, get a bachelor's degree, get a master's and a PhD. You is already set to where you're going to be at. Do y'all know that it's, matter of fact, I talk to one people right now who are PhD level. Once again, who are PhD level. And they are poor like ain't nothing. They're broke like ain't nothing. They're looking for jobs like ain't nothing. So once again, how is anything possible if this person here who literally went through this whole process, right, to attain a degree and everything like that, how can this person be pitch poor, looking for work and can't even find work? Make that make sense to me. Unless it's already fixed. That's why I keep telling y'all over and over again that this whole entire game that they running on y'all, it don't have nothing to do with you. It never have and it never will. This is dealing with them. This whole election and voter stuff is dealing with them, not you. It don't have nothing to do with you. You just the key player in it, okay? Because they need your votes, okay? So they could cover up how the way they truly are, how the way they truly run and operate. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what I'm trying to wake y'all up to that reality. But we can still play these games. We can still play this game thinking that, people like Barack Obama, people like Trump and all the rest of them have your best interests in heart. But they don't. They're only concerned about their legacy only. Just being real about it, y'all.
Someone who sees you and hears you and will get up every single day and fight for you.
Which that when he talking about fighting for you, he's not talking about you. He's talking about his legacy. He's talking about, as I call the house Negroes, he's talking about the Black Americans. That's who he's talking about. He's not talking about you, the lower class. Okay?
The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. It's been 16 years since I had the honor of accepting this party's nomination for president. And I know that's hard to believe because I have not aged a bit. But it's true. And looking back, I can say without question that my first big decision as your nominee turned out to be one of my best. And that was asking Joe Biden to serve by my side as vice president. Other than some common Irish blood, Joe.
Listen to what he said. Other than some common Irish blood, this man is literally throwing it in your face that he is part of that elite, that he's part of that legacy. But y'all see, once again, y'all not picking up on all this, okay? All thing you seeing is Barack Obama, and he just give you a speech. And he just give you a phenomenal speech. But you're not picking up on the key words of what they be saying. But that's okay. Everybody's going to help you out. Because I pick up on all this, all right?
I come from different backgrounds. But we became brothers. And as we worked together for 8, sometimes pretty tough years, what I came to admire most about Joe wasn't just his smarts, his experience. It was his empathy and his decency and his hard-earned resilience, his unshakable belief that everyone in this country deserves a fair shot. And over the last 4 years, those are the values America has needed most. At a time when millions of our fellow citizens were sick and dying, we needed a leader with the character to put politics aside and do what was right. At a time when our economy was reeling, we needed a leader with the determination to drive what would become the world's strongest recovery. 15 million jobs, higher wages, lower health care costs. At a time when the other party had...
Why is it so hard for America to just get rid of healthcare altogether? Why is that a difficult task? There are other countries such as, to my understanding, Canada and I believe France, who have free healthcare. Why is that a difficult task to happen in America? But once again, they're rather for you to have lower healthcare costs. They're rather to fight so you can have a lower healthcare premium, or so you could, instead of paying $100 for insulin, you could pay $35 for insulin rather than just give it for free. Make that shit make sense to me.
That's bullshit.
But
turned into a cult of personality. We needed a leader who was steady and brought people together and was selfless enough to do the rarest thing there is in politics, putting his own ambition aside for the sake of the country. History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend.
God
torch
damn.
has
Hold
been
on,
passed.
bro. We got to go back. What the hell? Hold on, bro. God dang. We got Rick James in the building, y'all. We got Rick James up in this mug. Oh, dude up in this mug tripping. That dude got that soul glow. Y'all remember on Soul Glow? On Coming to America, Soul Glow. You got that soul glow. Soul glow. That dude brought it back. He brought it way back. God dang.
Now, the torch has been passed. Now it is up to all of us to fight for the America we believe in. And make no mistake, it will be a fight. For all the incredible energy we've been able to generate over the last few weeks, for all the rallies and the memes, this will still be a tight race in a closely divided country. A country where too many Americans are still struggling. Where a lot of Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain.
Now, once again, that future that he's talking about and the children that he's talking about, he's not talking about you. Even though he tried to equate it towards you, he's not talking about you. He's talking about his legacy. He's talking about his friend Joe Biden legacy. He's talking about everyone who's connected into that legacy.
Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question. Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala.
Y'all want to know the real reason why they talk about Trump the way that they are is because Trump has gotten to the point at a almost nearly elite status where he could say whatever hell he want to say and there be truth behind it, and they know it's truth behind it, but they don't want y'all to know it, if that makes any sense. That's why they've been talking so much noise about Trump. Now, once again, I disagree with the stuff that Trump do as well, too. You know what I'm saying? Is everybody vote for Trump? Hell no, I'm not voting for him. But at the same time, when you be up such on an elite status that it don't matter to you because you already know how the story is going to end. Anyway. Now with him, it don't matter to him, even though he would like to be quote unquote part of the story where, you know, he's president. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to him for the simple fact that at the end of the day, he's still going to be part of the league, regardless if he's running the country or not. It doesn't matter. But the thing about it is that he's up here exposing a lot of the bullshit
That's bullshit.
that they're talking about. That's what he's doing. He don't care. He don't care. That's why they don't like him. Because this dude is not playing ball and they know they can't control him. That's why they were set up here doing all them legal lawsuits and stuff against him and stuff to try to slow him down and shut him up. Because Trump was talking too much. He was up here exposing way too much of their game plan. But once again, people, y'all don't catch on to none of that. But it is what it is. So I'm helping y'all out.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories.
Now, all this stuff he's saying about Kamala, scoring on her, talking about, she's an Indian and all kind of weird stuff. Hell no, I don't condone that at all, because that's some stupid ass bullshit too.
That's bullshit.
It is.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous. The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends.
Which that's partially true. Now, once again, just like his wife, he decided to use an analogy. Let me tell y'all the truth about that analogy. When you look at a leaf blower, right, what does a leaf blower do? That leaf blower is making noise. That's why it's disturbing the people, because it makes a lot of noise. Let's go back to what my claim earlier about with Trump. Trump is making a lot of noise that people don't like. That's why he used that analogy. See, I'm telling y'all, I'm helping y'all. I'm breaking this down for y'all so y'all can understand why they say the stuff that they say.
He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border, because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. He doesn't. Do not boo. Vote.
Do not boo.
He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom, since it won't affect his life. And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them, between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place.
So is it really Trump's fault that the country is divided how the way it is, or is it both party fault? I believe it's both party faults. It ain't just Trump, it ain't just the Republican, it ain't just the left, it's the far left, it ain't just the right, it's the far right as well too, the outright, whatever you want to call it. Y'all the one who are dividing the country. That's y'all doing that. That's y'all doing.
It is one of the oldest tricks in politics. From a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse. America's ready for a new chapter.
So I'm not agreeing on that.
Ready for a better story. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a person who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice and a champion. As you heard from Michelle, Kamala was not born into privilege. She had to work for what she's got. And she actually cares about what other people are going through. She's not the neighbor running the leaf blower. She's the neighbor rushing over to help when you need a hand. As a prosecutor.
Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Why would he say she's not the one who's blowing the leaf blower, but he's the one over there to rush if you need a hand? So in other words, he's saying this. He is saying that Kamala is assisting Trump with completing his task of making noise. That's exactly what he's saying. See, ladies and gentlemen, what they do in politics is that they put everything in plain sight to y'all, but they put it in words where it'll go over your head, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I'm saying, when, you be watching movies and stuff, right? And they be putting hidden messages in movie, but it be having truth behind it. That's exactly what they doing in these speeches. They putting truth behind it and stuff, right? They using the form of analogies, whatever. They throw little subtle sprinkles of little truth in there, but people will look over that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here for it to break it down.
Kamala stood up for children who had been victims of sexual abuse. As an attorney general of the most populous state in the country, she fought big banks and for-profit colleges, securing billions of dollars for the people they had scammed. After the home mortgage crisis, she pushed me and my administration hard to make sure homeowners got a fair settlement. Didn't matter that I was a Democrat. Didn't matter that she had knocked on doors for my campaign in Iowa. She was going to fight to get as much relief as possible.
Notice what he's saying now. He was making an analogy about home ownership. Once again, notice how he switched it, right? He's not talking about we, he's talking about him now, meaning that him and his constituents, him and people who are connected to him, not you.
For the families who deserved it. As vice president, she helped take on the drug companies to cap the cost of insulin, lower the cost of health care, give families with kids a tax cut. And she is running for president with real plans to lower costs even more and protect Medicare and Medicaid and sign a law to guarantee every woman's right to make her own health care decisions. In other words, Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems. She'll be focused on yours. As president, she won't just cater to her own supporters and punish those who refuse to kiss the ring or bend the knee. She'll work on behalf of every American. That's who Kamala is. And in the White House, she will have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I love this guy. Tim is the kind of person who should be in politics. Born in a small town, served his country, taught kids, coached football, took care of his neighbors. He knows who he is, and he knows what's important. You can tell those flannel shirts he wears don't come from some political consultant. They come from his closet.
Now, the reason why he's saying this about him is because this dude really don't have a lot of political experience, per se. What I mean by that, all of them are polished to be a certain type of way, okay? But Tim is not polished that way. He's not built that way. So they're trying to reconstruct him into being the way that they need him to be. So that's why he's saying all this about him.
And they have been through some stuff. They have been through some stuff. That's right. Together, Kamala and Tim have kept faith with America's central story. A story that says we are all created equal. All of us endowed with certain inalienable rights, that everyone deserves a chance, that even when we don't agree with each other, we can find a way to live with each other. That's Kamala's vision. That's Tim's vision. That's the Democratic Party's vision. And our job over the next 11 weeks is to convince as many people as possible to vote for that vision. Now, it won't be easy. The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver. And
not to convince people that the game is no longer rigged, but to convince you that all you got to do is play ball within the game. Then you probably could be successful. More likely, no, not on their level, but close enough to where they want to be at.
And in doing that, we can't just point to what we've already accomplished. We can't just rely on the ideas of the past. We need to chart a new way forward to meet the challenges of today. And Kamala understands this. She knows, for example, that if we want to make it easier for more young people to buy a home, we need to build more units and clear away some of the outdated laws and regulations that made it harder to build homes for working people in this country. That is a priority, and she's put out a bold new plan to do just that.
Well, why did he say units? I'll tell y'all why, but later.
On health care, we should all be proud of the enormous progress that we've made through the Affordable Care Act, providing millions of people access to affordable coverage, protecting millions more from unscrupulous insurance practices. I noticed, by the way, that since it's become popular, they don't call it Obamacare no more. But Kamala knows we can't stop there, which is why she'll keep working to limit out-of-pocket costs. Kamala knows
get rid
that
of it.
if we want to help people get ahead, we need to put a college degree within reach of more Americans. But
So you could be in debt.
she also knows college shouldn't be the only ticket to the middle class. We need to follow the lead of governors like Tim Walz, who said, if you've got the skills and the drive, you shouldn't need a degree to work for state government. And in this new economy, we need a president who actually cares about the millions of people all across this country who wake up every single day to do the essential, often thankless work, to care for our sick, to clean our streets, to deliver our packages. We need a president who will stand up for their right to bargain for better wages and working conditions. And Kamala will be that president.
Now here's another point that I'm calling on bullshit on, right?
That's bullshit.
I'm kind of bullshit on this is because even right now in the administration with Biden, right? I'm calling bullshit on this is because they could have been did this a long time ago. They could have did this 4 years ago, but they chose not to do that. So for Barack to sit up here and say something like that, it is bullshit. The reason why is because at the end of the day, they're not going to do that. I'm just like I told y'all before, I'm one of them workers who are considered as essential workers, right? It is utterly ridiculous of the type of wages that they pay me and my fellow coworkers every single day. It is utterly ridiculous. The time that we put into the sacrifices that we make to make sure that we're servicing the people. It is utterly ridiculous. But guess what? They ain't do nothing about that. Because they don't care about that. They don't. Because if they cared about it, they would have been to change it a long time ago, but they haven't. And this not only in Biden's administration, hell, when Trump was running, it was the same as that thing. They didn't care about that. They didn't. Presidency before that, even through Barack's administration, same thing. They didn't care about that. So I call cap on it, and I call bullshit on it for the simple fact that, once again, this is just this feel-good message to make people feel good, to get y'all to vote for their cause, okay? But the reality is, all this stuff going to pass? Hell no, it's going to pass. It ever passed before, and it's definitely not going to pass now. Just letting y'all know. Just letting y'all know. But we could continue to play these games if we want to. Man, it's utterly ridiculous, even with law enforcement officers right now. I know some of y'all feel some type of way about police officers, law enforcement officers, but it is utterly ridiculous that even them, they literally trained to protect and serve. They literally put their life on the line for people every single day, and them dudes get paid low wages too, and that shit is some bullshit too.
That's bullshit.
Along with firefighters, along with paramedics, EMTs and stuff, they get paid some low wages.
That's bullshit.
For the work that they do, but yet still they sit up here lying and capping to like, yeah, we need to get more wages for them. We need to fight for the wage. Y'all don't care about that. But come on, stop the cap, man. Y'all don't care.
Yes, she can. Yes, she can. A Harris-Walz administration can help us move past some of the tired old debates that keep stifling progress. Because at their core, Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off. They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. When women are paid the same as men for doing the same job, all families benefit.
To my understanding, I didn't know that the wage gap thing was still an issue. I thought that women was getting paid the same wages as men now these days. That wage gap thing was back in the 80s and 90s, so I don't even know why he's mentioning that now. That's weird. But what he should mention is the age gap between older people. That's what he should be mentioning about. He should be mentioning about why is a lot of people who've been working their jobs for 30 or 40 plus years all of a sudden getting laid off. That's what he should be talking about. Where they getting laid off, and that's all the work they ever known to do. They getting laid off and stuff, and next thing you know, they pulling up in the unemployment offices, getting on unemployment and stuff, and they barely could qualify for unemployment, right? Because they give them a severance package. So that's what he need to be talking about. But once again, we play these games, man.
They understand that we can secure our borders without tearing kids away from their parents. Just like we can keep our streets safe while also building trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve and eliminating bias. That will make it better for everybody. Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors, they don't see the world that way. For them, one group's gains is necessarily another group's loss. For them, freedom means that the powerful can do pretty much what they please, whether it's fire workers trying to organize a union, or put poison in our rivers, or avoid paying taxes like everybody else has to do. Well, we have a broader idea of freedom. We believe in the freedom to provide for your family if you're willing to work hard. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and send your kids to school without worrying if they'll come home.
Did you hear their ideology about freedom? As long as you're willing to work hard, or like I was saying earlier, as long as you're willing to play ball, play by the rules, then you could survive in this said nation. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm revealing to y'all is that all they doing is playing one huge game. Y'all are, including myself, we all are considered as the pawns of this game, and this game of chess that they're playing with us. We are expendable, and they only utilize us for their own personal selfish gain. That is all I'm trying to tell y'all over and over again in different ways. So, like I say, we could look at here, we could look at the speeches. We could, as I call it, these feel-good speeches, right? They be motivated and inspired by. But at the end of the day, once again, these people honestly do not care about you. They really don't.
We believe that true freedom gives each of us the right to make decisions about our own life, how we worship, what our family looks like, how many kids we have, who we marry. And we believe that freedom requires us to recognize that other people have the freedom to make choices that are different than ours. That's okay. That's the America Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believe in. An America where we, the people, includes everyone. Because that's the only way this American experiment works. And despite what our politics might suggest, I think most Americans understand that. Democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere. It's the values we live by. It's the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us, or pray like us, or see the world exactly like we do. That sense of mutual respect has to be part of our message. Our politics have become so polarized these days that all of us across the political spectrum seem so quick to assume the worst in others, unless they agree with us on every single issue. We start thinking that the only way to win is to scold and shame and out-yell the other side. And after a while, regular folks just tune out, or they don't bother to vote. Now, that approach may work for the politicians who just want attention and thrive on division, but it won't work for us to make progress on the things we care about, the things that really affect people's lives. We need to remember that we've all got our blind spots and contradictions and prejudices, and that if we want to win over those who aren't yet ready to support our candidates, we need to listen to their concerns and maybe learn something in the process.
Listen to what he said. He said that we need to listen to their concerns and maybe understand it. Meaning that at the end of the day, you can voice your concerns all day long, but if you're not playing ball, They'll listen to you by all means, but at the end of the day, are they going to do something about it? Yeah, nope, they're not going to do nothing about it. They're going to do nothing about it at all, so don't worry about it.
After all, if a parent or grandparent occasionally says something that makes us cringe, we don't automatically assume they're bad people. We recognize that the world is moving fast, that they need time and maybe a little encouragement to catch up. Our fellow citizens deserve the same grace we hope they'll extend to us.
And now the grace that he's talking about, he's not talking about biblical grace, okay? He's talking about grace as far as a transaction, okay? He's talking about grace in a business perspective. If they give this to you in return, the expectation is that you're going to give back to them of what it is that they desire. In this particular case, is your vote.
That's how we can build a true democratic majority, one that can get things done. And by the way, that does not just matter to the people in this country. The rest of the world is watching to see if we can actually pull this off. No nation, no society has ever tried to build a democracy as big and as diverse as ours before. One that includes people that over decades have come from every corner of the globe. One where our allegiances and our community are defined not by race or blood, but by a common creed. And that's why when we uphold our values, the world's a little brighter. When we don't, the world's a little dimmer. And dictators and autocrats feel emboldened. And over time, we become less safe. We shouldn't be the world's policemen, and we can't eradicate every cruelty and injustice in the world. But America can be and must be a force for good. Discouraging conflict, fighting disease, promoting human rights, protecting the planet from climate change, defending freedom, brokering peace. That's what Kamala Harris believes, and so do most Americans. Now, I know these ideas can feel pretty naive right now. We live in a time of such confusion and rancor, with a culture that puts a premium on things that don't last. Money, fame, status, likes. We chase the approval of strangers on our phones. We build all manner of walls and fences around ourselves, and then we wonder why we feel so alone. We don't trust each other as much because we don't take the time to know each other. And in that space between us, politicians and algorithms teach us to caricature each other and troll each other and fear each other. But here's the good news, Chicago. All across America, in big cities and small towns, away from all the noise, the ties that bind us together are still there.
Hey, what he said on that poll, I agree with him 100. Because that's how the way it is right now. Even in this on YouTube space right now. Those of y'all who are tuning in, I did shows talking about this and stuff. How the way we be separate trolling each other because we have our own sort of type of biases and all kind of weird stuff we got going on. Where all it takes is just for us to understand one another. And when I did my show talking about this issue, talking about cyberbullying and different things like that, it was the whole point that I wanted us to understand one another. I know we're not going to agree with everything, but at least understand where each other is coming from so we can end these type of unnecessary biases or this unnecessary type of trolling. But unfortunately, just like I said before, and I say it again, it came to the point where people just addicted to it. They're addicted to the beefing. They're addicted to everything, and they just don't want to let it go at all.
That's bullshit.
They don't. They don't want to let it go. But at the same time, want to sit up here and want to play the victim. Or I'm the victim. They did this. Or I'm the victim. They did that. When you have a choice, you could choose to let that thing go and just don't say nothing at all. Hell, you could want to do content on some other issues and stuff like I'm doing. I'm doing content on something I ain't even talking about a YouTuber or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing content on this. That's what's popular right now. You do content on that. You do content on anything besides trying to talk about another YouTuber for 3 or 4 hours. They jump on panels, talk about them 3 or 4 hours of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then get all mad and trigger, get all emotional about it and stuff and crying and doing all this weird stuff. When you could just let all that go. But like I say, I could just throw it out there. I could show you the way. I could show you how it is, but it's up to you to choose whether or not you want to do that or not. Matter of fact, Northfather had posted a video and stuff right? And I said under this video, and I said, and I said, hey, whatever going on with them ladies, them women, right? I'm going to stay in my lane and chill because I said what I said about it, and I'm not going to say nothing else about it. Whatever y'all choose to do, that is totally up to y'all. If you want to be free or not, that is totally up to you. So it is what it is, but let's continue.
We still coach Little League and look out for our elderly neighbors. We still feed the hungry in churches and mosques and synagogues and temples. We share the same pride when our Olympic athletes compete for the gold. Because the vast majority of us do not want to live in a country that's bitter and divided. We want something better. We want to be better. And the joy and the excitement that we're seeing around this campaign tells us we're not alone. I've spent a lot of time thinking about these past few months because, as Michelle mentioned, this summer we lost her mom, Ms. Marion Robinson. And I don't know that anybody has ever loved their mother-in-law any more than I love mine. Mostly it's because she was funny and wise and the least pretentious person I knew. That, and she always defended me with Michelle when I messed up. I'd hide behind her. But I also think one of the reasons Mary and I became so close was she reminded me of my grandmother, the woman who helped raise me as a child. And on the surface, the two of them did not have a lot in common. One was a black woman from right here, south side of Chicago, right down the way. Went to Englewood High School. The other was a little old white lady born in a tiny town called Peru, Kansas.
Peru, Kansas.
Now, I know there aren't that many people from Peru. And yet they shared a basic outlook on life. They were strong, smart, resourceful women, full of common sense, who, regardless of the barriers they encountered, and women growing up in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they encountered barriers. They still went about their business without fuss or complaint and provided an unshakable foundation of love for their children and their grandchildren. In that sense, they both represented an entire generation of working people who, through war and depression, discrimination and limited opportunity, helped build this country. A lot of them toiled every day at jobs that were often too small for them and didn't pay a lot. They willingly went without just to keep a roof over their families' heads, just to give their children something better. But they knew what was true. They knew what mattered. Things like honesty and integrity, kindness and hard work. They weren't impressed with braggarts or bullies. They didn't think putting other people down lifted you up or made you strong. They didn't spend a lot of time obsessing about what they didn't have. Instead, they appreciated what they did. They found pleasure in simple things: a card game with friends, a good meal, and laughter around the kitchen table, helping others, and most of all, seeing their children do things and go places that they would have never imagined for themselves. Whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or somewhere in between, we have all had people like that in our lives. People like Kamala's parents, who crossed oceans because they believed in the promise of America. People like Tim's parents, who taught him about the importance of service. Good, hard-working people who weren't famous or powerful.
Oh yeah. By the way, that's the reason why Kamala Harris used the term that she's a Black American versus an African American, because she's not African at all. All right, just to let y'all know. I don't care how much you try to flip it and fold it and say she's Black like us, she's African like us. No, she's not African American. She's not. She's a Black American for sure, but she's not African American. All right.
But who managed in countless ways to leave this country just a little bit better than they found it. As much as any policy or program, I believe that's what we yearn for. A return to an America where we work together and look out for each other. A restoration of what Lincoln called, on the eve of Civil War, our bonds of affection. An America that taps what he called the better angels of our nature. That is what this election is about. And I believe that's why, if we each do our part over the next 77 days, if we knock on doors, if we make phone calls, if we talk to our friends, if we listen to our neighbors, if we work like we've never worked before, if we hold firm to our convictions, we will elect Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States, and Tim Walz as the next Vice President of the United States. We will elect leaders up and down the ballot who will fight for the hopeful, forward-looking America we all believe in. And together, we too will build a country that is more secure and more just, more equal, and more free. So let's get to work. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
Once again, shout out to Barack and Michelle Obama for two phenomenal speeches overall. Just like I stated in the beginning of the stream, they are great speakers. They really are. They're really great public speakers. So I give them that. I give them that for real. I really do. But I want to leave y'all with this thought. Okay. I had mentioned earlier to Michelle, and I'm also going to say this to Barack as well too, is that both of their speeches, even though it's phenomenal and great, both of their speeches is very disingenuous. Okay, it's very disingenuous. For the simple fact that they're making it seem as though that it's only two political candidates that's running and not considering all the rest of the candidates they're running. Y'all want to know what would be a great gesture, since they are using this terminology saying that we all need to come together as one or come together as unity? Y'all want to know what would be a good gesture behind that? Is this. A good gesture would be Kamala saying, you know what? Since we are preaching this message saying that we want to come together, right? You know what? I'm denouncing myself as being a Democrat. I am totally denouncing my party altogether. If she were to do that, that would send a astounding message telling people that it's not about your party. It would send a message to the people saying that this is about Americans, period. If her, Tim Walsh, the Obamas, and all the rest of her constituents, right, they all denounced being Democrats, right? We're no longer a part of this bullshit. This bullshit been around for way too long and we're tired of it. We want something new. So this is what we're going to do new. We're going to use our talents. We're going to use our ability. We're going to use our influence to get rid of this party altogether, where it's no longer considered as a Democratic party, but we're considered as they adequately say, we the people. If they were to do something like that, then that would send an astounding message to us, the normal average people, saying that, hey, they really do care about us. They really do care about us, because now they're including themselves into literally our struggles or what we're dealing with. They're saying the truth about things that a lot of us been saying for the longest, that this party is some bullshit. It is. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the left or right, wherever you want to call it, it's some bullshit. For real. And it's sending that message saying that, hey, now we are actually a part of something. And what we're part of is being American, period. That would be the message that they should send, but guess what? They're not going to do that. They're not going to denounce their parties. They're not going to denounce no longer being on Democrats or Republicans or anything like that. They're not going to do that. The reason why they're not going to do that, because at the end of the day, they see this as playing chess. This is one huge game for them that you the supporter, that you're a pawn and you're a part of. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I say this election is a feel-good election, where they targeting your feelings and emotion instead of using logic and reasoning and common sense to see the truth. The truth behind it is that at the end of the day, these people do not care nothing about us. They never have, and they never will, until we, the people, the actual people, us, Americans, literally do something about it. One of the most powerful things we could do about it is to withhold our votes, because you should be thinking to yourself, why is it so important for us to go to this booth? Go to this booth, right? Put in our identification at this booth and spend 10 minutes pressing buttons. You should be thinking about that. You should be thinking about, why is that so damn important to them to do that? Why? Why is that so serious? The reason why is because that is part of their game. Because they need control. They need for you to be under control. They need to give you the illusion of freedom, which you really don't. We don't have freedom, folks. We really don't. We're not going to have freedom until we demand freedom the right way, which is for us to literally come together and shutting this thing down and recreating this whole thing where it truly be about us. That's when true freedom is going to happen. But until then, we can still play this game. Some of y'all, y'all going to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. Some of y'all going to vote for Kamala because she's an AKA. Some of y'all going to vote for Kamala because she's black. Some of y'all going to vote for Kamala because you don't like Trump. Some of y'all going to vote for Trump because you don't like Kamala. Some of y'all going to vote for Trump because he's white. Some of y'all going to vote for Trump because he got money. Some of y'all going to vote for Trump because he think more like a businessman instead of being up in his feelings. But even these situations and stuff, right, it don't even matter, man, because all they doing is run a game on you. They run a game on us, and it's not going to stop until we decide to make it stop. My hope and prayer is this, you know what I'm saying? My hope and prayer is that there'll be a generation one day that see the truth for what it really is and shut this shit down once and for all. That's my hope and prayer, because I don't see it happening in my generation. I don't see it happening in the next generation. Maybe later on down in these other generations, maybe it will happen then, where they really start seeing the truth behind this and literally shut this thing down, where it be no longer political parties. There's no longer left, right, Republican, Democrat, none of that stuff. None of the stuff don't even exist anymore, where we're just all considered as Americans, period. That's my hope and prayer that I want to see. Well, what about y'all? Do you want to see a day or time where you're actually considered as American? Or do you want to still be a part of political parties co-signing for these people who do not have the best interests for you whatsoever? What say you?